Murphy's Law isn't something I usually subscribe to, if only because I primarily associate it with shitty office humor, but I'm willing to believe in it today. Yes, I'm sorry to tell you, there won't be a regular episode of Handful this week, because there's some big, ugly technical problem that I can't solve, and my usual tech support guardian angels aren't available to pull my squealing, tumescent fat out of the fire in time to make our highly strict deadline of sometime Friday. I considered just posting a cheap little message saying, "Oh dear, sorry lads and ladies, but there ain't nothing this week." However, it was only a few days ago that I was talking with a friend of mine about how I felt that though it was only really acceptable for some websites to miss updates, those being the ones that have built up some respect with their readership by having a long stretch of steady updating behind them, it's a real killer of momentum when a relatively fresh website drops the ball. Sure, you might have a horrible technical problem in the editing suite, your usual source of amusing archival footage is down, and your diaper is full of more shit than a leading political figure. Ooh, yes, I went there. Yes, a leading political figure is full of shit. It could be any of them, you know. They're all politicians. But anyways, the point is that excuses are boring, and I don't feel we've earned the right to just take a mulligan. So, for this week, I'll be reading you a short story authored by popular aircraft carrier enthusiast Tom Clancy. It will be accompanied by as many MS Paint style drawings as I can get done before I jet off to my cottage for the weekend. Yes, I hope you enjoy the following tale of masculine heroism in a time of tightly fitting flight suits, Red Bull injections, and the ladies who love them. I hope you enjoy Aircraft Carrier Delight by Tom Clancy. Not me. Jet planes were screaming through the air, right? And they were like shooting rockets through the air like six-propelled panthers with titanium testicles ready to stop, drop, and roll those fuck dogs out of the sky, right? Man, dog, these bogies are such faggots we ought to put them all in straitjackets with the American flag spread right across the back. Know what I'm saying, nigga? Coltrane said over the MSN chat window embedded in the bottom right corner of his firecraft's heads-up display. Nigga was ice cold. Nigga was the color of those fish that live so deep in the ocean that they have to develop alternative sensory perceptions. Turbo. 3 of the enemy jets, whoever the fuck they were, blew up with the kind of intensity that can only be brought by missiles which cost as much as a fully funded social services facility for those suffering from Down syndrome. Better to blow up the enemy tards and waste money trying to educate our own, you know? You know? With an intensity matched only by the Fuhrer in his loins, Lieutenant Clint Coltrane jammed his right index finger damn-ass fucking hard into the big red button on his console marked with the universal symbol for engaging the autopilot. A stylized unicorn striding down a runway with its horn impaling a small foreign man of no particular nationality. Though it only took 3 minutes and 43 seconds for the computer to guide him back across whatever the fuck ocean, lake, sea, Clint was still able to grab a quick victory wank, spattering the glass canopy with a trillion little buggers squirming for freedom. Salad dressing. Half-flaccid penis still hanging out his jumpsuit's fly like the nose on a muppet, Clint gingerly hopped down from his FX-340, built by Halliburton Halliburgers. The technician who brought up the ladder for Clint to come down on tried to step out of the way, but thanks to an unlucky gust of wind, he still caught The technician who brought up the ladder for Clint to come down on tried to step out of the way, but thanks to an unlucky gust of wind, he still caught Coltrane's cock on the chin with a thunderous ker-whack. In the distance, a small child yelled, "Woo-wee!" Nobody knew why. The 48 Super Bowl strength megaspeakers on the carrier boomed with the voice of the Admiral, modulated by computer software to sound akin to the love child of General MacArthur and John Wayne. "Lieutenant Clint Coltrane, you badass kitty fiddler! Hurry yourself down to Central Command to receive your next assignment! On the double!" In times past, it was customary to allow pilots some downtime after missions to recuperate, but studies, by experts, had confirmed that the modern American soldier responded better to a series of back-to-back missions as it helped maintain his interest while better resembling a video game. Striding through the steel hallways of the carrier, which totally looked badass with lots of halogen lights and shit, Clint reluctantly put away the python and zipped up his fly. Clank, clank, clank went his steel-toed boots on the mantanium flooring like 2 grown men dropping a hammer onto a sheet of metal repeatedly and somewhat rhythmically. Nearing Central Command, Clint's clank clank was met by sound waves coming from further ahead. They were more of a quang quang noise. The sound was different from what was usually heard. Strange. Unusual. Foreign. Sensing for foreign danger, Clint pounded around the next corner and saw directly ahead of him the unmistakable two-legged beast which had started this unfortunate war, a foreigner who couldn't even have the common human decency of being from America. He was sweaty and his clothes didn't fit well, though they covered most of his skin. Clint's vision blurred slightly, partially from the pure xenophobia racing around his veins like motherfucking Ghost Rider, and partially from all the sweat dripping into his eyes from a forehead that was as broad and proud as the Bible Belt. As a result, he wasn't entirely sure if he was facing one of those deadly Middle Easterners, or just some fancy-pants faggot from the European Union, which had declared war on America when she had recently embarked upon a just and vital sojourn into the coast of France, or Spain, probably. The foreigner uttered something, and probably a threat, probably an insult too. Clint wasn't sure about this either, as all he could hear was blood roaring through his ears as his heart started beating faster and faster with the eye of the tiger, fighting spirit, booyah. Clint moved towards the foreigner and punched him real good, but then the foreigner kicked him in the shin, and that hurt, and then one of them was all using his elbows like a steel cobra with the nipples of an Aztec warrior pushing a shopping cart over the rocky fields of glory. Turbo. Anyways, just try and imagine some badass Matrix shit going on, please, because I can't really write fist fight karate stuff too good. The point is that Clint won with just enough personal injury, like a cut on his cheek or some shit, to make him look badass while he pinned the arms of the foreigner behind his back and jammed his head into a stack of metal ammunition crates somebody had stocked up in the hallway. The hallway in the aircraft carrier with mantanium flooring. Right. The doorway at the end of the hallway, which I forgot to mention earlier, and that was sort of behind the foreigner when the foreigner had first been standing there, opened. In walked the Admiral with his assistant, who had a proper name and a rank, but was known more by the nickname Sloppy Joe. Navy dudes are like that, all making up nicknames and heterosexually slapping each other's asses and shit. It's called camaraderie, comrade. Yes, the Admiral was annoyed that Clint had yet to show up to Command Central on the single, let alone on the double, but from behind his black pilot sunglasses the Admiral's eyes widened with glee at what he saw. With one nicotine-stained hand, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a Blueberry PDA/cellphone/PlayStation 4/teddy bear and placed it on the floor. Just prior to placing his hands on his hips all leader-like, the Admiral pressed a button on the Blueberry, and the teddy bear portion started to move its mouth in sync with the sound that started blaring from its tiny, tinny speakers. The hallway was flooded with Michael Jackson's You Rock My World Aerosmith remix, and the sound of Sloppy Joe clapping along. The Admiral cocked an eyebrow like the safety on the automatic shotgun he used to hunt single mothers through the alleys of New York. Hard. Clint knew what to do. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk. The moon spun in its orbit around the earth. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk. The ocean waves buffeted against the sides of the aircraft carrier. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk. Several hundred naval officers and enlisted men went about their business. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk. The foreigner's head rocked an ammunition crate back and forth, for at the moment was the theme song from Cheers. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk. Man, this war is friggin' awesome. Ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk. Spider-Man.